we're live.
It says we're live, and I'm going to go with we are.
Okay. So I would say just give it a minute. Let's see if people actually can see it. See if it actually goes live.
The fact that it's showing we've got a poor connection, though, worries me.
Yeah.
Why do we have a poor connection?
Okay, YouTube's saying we're live.
Okay, it's coming up at least. Or it was.
45 seconds. Yeah, it's saying we're live.
Okay, so we are probably as
That's what it looks like.
it just that just refreshed. So
That's back up.
I think we might be back up, and we've got a better connection now. This
Okay.
according to those bars.
Lost it. Okay, we're back.
Give it a second. Okay, we're probably as back as we're gonna get.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the stuff. So
Yeah, sorry everybody. Be like, if you were trying to watch our stream earlier, we had a technical difficulty, had to reboot everything.
yeah,
He had to reboot the computer and
I
everything.
did everything but reboot the modem, and I
Mhm.
was debating whether or not I should do that one. Finally, it just decided it wanted to act right.
Yeah. And
Computers, gotta love them.
Yeah, I agree, Bobo. Stuff is problematic. Everything is
Indeed.
problematic.
So
Sorry for the delay. We are going to get to our review for Bad Movie Month, Mars Needs Moms. Now, if you have not watched this film, it's on Disney Plus.
but
Now-
don't get in a hurry.
Don't get in a hurry to watch this. This is not a very good film.
No,
To
we'll
be
get
frank-
to it. We'll
Yeah,
get to it.
We'll get there.
Don't, don't spoil the review before we start the review.
I'm not just letting our audience know.
So, for fun fact, for those of you who are patrons
yes,
and get uncut audio, you will hear me panicking for a good 10 minutes now
roughly about 10 minutes.
on the actual thing, because I've been recording this whole time.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
so-
Ashley.
Oh, look, your wife's here.
Yes, I told her that we're going live, and so she's going to chime in at some point or another about her review of the
Are you
film.
saying she has opinions about this film?
Oh, she has opinions about the film because she saw the trailer and thought it was trash.
Well, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there.
You ready to go ahead and get started? We got 4 people in here.
Cool. Yeah, if the bad thing about having a growth plate on your head, you can't fit normal
Hats on.
hats on your head.
Mm-hmm.
I can fit like form fit hats work great. Other hats don't because it just grinds right into that
Yep.
little plate.
And it hurts after a while, I bet.
It does.
All right.
All right. So I am going to share on Facebook.
I'll let you get finished before I start hitting buttons.
All right, go there. Let's see. By the way, thank you guys for coming in and
Hanging out.
hanging out, showing the love, and just being patient with us. Because there again, like Bubba said, stuff is problematic.
Yeah, it did this to me Tuesday in the middle of the stream too.
Really?
Yeah, right at 8 o'clock. It was like the clock hit 8 and it said, "Okay, you're gonna lose all your frames right now." And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a boss fight. I can't stop to fix this. I did have to stop and fix it, but still.
That is funny. Yes, we are both wearing the same hat.
I mean, it's the Cellcast hat.
Yes, exactly. We do have a few. I gotta remember where they are in my house, but they are for sale if you want a hat.
They have moved from one apartment to the other.
Yes, safely. Because
Yes.
I remember why I moved them. They're in some box somewhere. If you want a hat,
Talk to PM him.
PM
Private message.
private message. Okay. DM PM whatever.
Direct message, private message, whatever term you want to use.
Tweet me, send a bird, whatever.
Send them a TikTok.
Yes, send me a TikTok and be like, oh, okay, I'll send you a hat.
With the dance, total. That's part of the price. You got to send Jacob a TikTok dance.
Okay.
Double points if it's from Fortnite because neither one of us would know the difference.
All right.
I know there's one called The Floss, but I only know that because Sonic the Hedgehog did it in that first movie.
Yes. I've known the
But
floss for many
That's
years.
the only one I know.
I got you.
I see the weird things that pop up on Facebook Reels where cute women, cute cosplayers, I should say, tried to do this weird dance that's based on like different anime characters dancing, and it kind of works, but kind of doesn't.
Gotcha.
Either way, you ready to start?
Yeah, let's do this. If it'll start.
Hang on. For some reason, my bad movie month intro is not one to play.
The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
If it hadn't been for you, I would be now in someone else's digestion.
You know there's something you should know, so I'm gonna tell you so.
It's Bad Movie Month on the Cellcast.
Don't sweat it, forget it, enjoy the show. Working all day, now it's time to unwind. Kick back, relax, take a load off your mind.
Nice thing about this song is I don't think I have to worry about copyright.
I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing
I could
cause
be
it's
wrong.
party
Watch this
time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, it's party time. Everybody's feeling fine cause it's party time. Party time, party time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, he believes in the power of flower power. Welcome, Jacob.
Peace and love, bro. Like zoinks.
If
No,
only-
where's the chili dog?
if only they were watching Scooby-Doo.
Right
might have-
on. Yeah. Right.
Not that Disney would have had those rights.
That is true. Maybe at some point Disney owned Warner Brothers at some point, but not today. Why?
No, not today.
Why? Thank you. Let me use our co-host, a man who just thinks he can breathe, thinks he can just wear a space helmet and be perfectly fine on the surface of Mars. Welcome, Drew.
Well, it's not like that helmet didn't automatically seal pretty well. I will give it that.
True. But these characters have much freaking plot armor. It's not even funny.
That is very true. Tonight, it is, of course, Bad Movie Month, as you probably guessed from that intro. And we are reviewing Mars Needs Moms. The final bad, what do you call those? Motion capture films.
Oh, yeah.
Of the cheesy era before they decided to become unpopular again.
Yes.
Or actually not be the full source of animation like they never should have been.
Yes.
We still got a bunch of those we'll have to watch
Oh,
at some
yeah.
point. But this is I'll say this, it's a film.
It is a film.
It is a film. It was made by Disney.
partially made by Disney.
Disney put money into it
And then they
distributed it. And I hold some rights to it, even though it was developed by Image Movers Digital, which now no longer exists because it got remerged into Image Movers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, why don't we go ahead and jump into the spoiler-free section of this thing?
Exactly.
Certified fresh and spoiler-free.
My thoughts on this movie can be summed up by the following audio clip.
He ain't half bad.
Ain't half good either.
Where did you find that?
That was from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, okay.
The episode where Brain is trying to take over the world by being a country music star.
Okay.
It's a funny episode. But I remembered this clip.
Oh my.
He ain't half bad.
Ain't half good either.
It's so funny. Like when you've done this for so long, you recognize voice actors
Yes.
of who that was, and I was like, oh, that was Rob Paulson.
It was Rob Paulson.
It was very Rob Paulson.
because Rob Paulson did play like half of the extras
Of
on
course.
that show.
Yeah, the same guy who did Raphael in the original and in the 2012
And-
played
and-
Donatello.
And he's Yakko and Pinky
Yes.
in this show. And he
multiple of characters.
he was someone in Tiny Toons, and now I can't remember who he was because that was a month ago.
And then someone in our chats can be like, oh, he was this character too.
Oh, I'm
Probably.
sure. Rob Paulson's one of those actors who's been in a lot of stuff. It's
Yes.
just he's not been as much stuff as some other people.
That is true.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on this film. It's not half bad. It's not half good either.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
meh.
Yeah, it is very meh.
Very meh.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say you won't. There aren't people who aren't going to enjoy this film. I've seen plenty of reviews from people who did like this film, and I will not fault those people for liking this film because that's the thing about tastes.
Mhm.
We all have different ones.
Yeah.
But for me, it was meh. What's your thoughts?
So,
Oh, and this was the first time I watched the film.
all right. So, like last time, I tried to do the thumbnail first, and it took me all week to figure out the design for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see that in about a week or so, whenever this is released,
Monday, probably.
Monday.
By the way, happy Friday the 13th, everybody.
Yes, exactly.
I apparently know what my Friday the 13th issues are.
Really,
Yeah, we just experienced them before the show started.
you're not kidding. Technical difficulties. You're welcome.
I am not superstitious.
Yes.
But I'm a great believer in coincidence.
Agreed. So with this film, I had heard about this film when it came out and saw the trailers. I was like, this does not look good. And I think at that time, you had Tangled to come out, which was a phenomenal film.
Mm-hmm.
And then this abomination comes out.
This came out between, I think, Tangled and Frozen.
Yes.
If it wasn't the same year as Frozen.
Yeah. No. Frozen came out in 2013, I believe.
And this was
And-
2012?
2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah, because Tangled came out in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
have those years memorized,
Yeah.
obviously.
So I saw the trailer. It wasn't for me. And then I remember I was like, okay, bad movie month. And I remember seeing this trailer, recall this trailer. And I was like, ooh, again, I'd never seen it. It's like, this is going to be a bad movie month. I'd never read reviews or anything. Like, it just looks bad.
Yeah.
And it fits perfectly well in this slot of bad movie month. I watched it because I was told by my wife, you can watch it on Tuesday because I'm going to do a Bible study. So you can watch it then. So Tuesday morning, or Tuesday night, I walked home and needed a good walk. So I walked home and relaxed and got comfortable, watched this, and I'm like, okay, notes. What the heck happened? What is this? But there are aspects of this film that I enjoyed. Because with anything, you can pick out things that are enjoyable or has some kind of merit.
Mm-hmm.
This has some. You can see where in our previous movie we reviewed, In Search of Titanic, which was just garbage of
But
the film.
fun garbage.
But fun garbage. This lacks a lot of things. You can see where they were going with it, but there was no polish anywhere with this film. So, would I recommend it? If you're curious about it, if you have a subscription to Disney Plus, that is probably your best bet to go watch. I would not recommend buying this anywhere.
No.
So just for, I want to go see something interesting or something dumb, this is probably up your alley. And you'll if you've seen the film, let us know wherever you listen to us, or on Facebook or social media, wherever. Let us know what you think of Mars Needs Moms, and let us know and get a conversation started, because that's always good.
Yeah.
Always wonderful and healthy to have a good conversation about a film.
Please help us build our community.
Exactly. But
I
overall,
think we say that on a regular basis.
Yes, I agree. So, like Drew said, it's kind of a meh film, but there's some little merit of okay, I can see where they were going with this if they would have just polished, to use the frank of a term, a turd, to give it a little more shine, some spit behind it. It may have been a good film, but it's not. It is a movie that has X, Y, and Z. It's X, Y, and Z, but it needed A, B, C.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my spoiler-free thoughts on Mars Needs Moms.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the spoiler-filled section then, shall we?
Yes.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film Mars Needs Moms. Listener discretion is advised. Mars Needs Moms was written and directed by Simon Wells. Do you know we just reviewed a film directed by Simon Wells?
I am drawing a blank. What is that?
Balto.
Oh, he did write. That's right.
You know what else he directed? What? Prince of Egypt.
Okay, hold on. Time.
Yeah.
Time. Hold on. Prince of Egypt, which was an amazing film.
Yeah.
Balto, which was a very good film. Historically accurate, but it was a good, fun film. And then you have this.
Oh, it gets worse, my friend. Hang on.
Bother.
Had to think of his name again. Oh, let's see. He also directed Kung Fu, that's a storyboard artist. Let's just look at director because he does a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he also directed the Time Machine.
Okay.
We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, and An American Tale. Fievel Goes West.
What?
Yes, this is Fievel Goes West guy.
Wait, wait a minute. Okay, what happened, bro?
Yeah,
Bro, what happened?
What happened is he was forced to use this technology.
I agree, but at the same time, you have all these amazing category, a filmography of good films.
Admittedly, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story also belongs in Bad Movie Month, in my opinion.
Okay,
But
so
yeah, there's some half decent films in there, and one of the best 2D animated films ever made in there.
Agreed. So did he do anything after this, or did this just grow in his career?
He has actually had something coming up, and you would ask that after I closed it.
Yes, because I was curious. As he types away on the computer.
I got to bring it back up real quick.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a new project coming up.
Well, he's in pre-production something called Save the Cat. I don't know what that is. Mars Needs Moms. He was 2011. He directed something in 2015 called Mercs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that is. It rates a 7.0. I don't know who any of these people are in this film.
So it seems to be
and there is no plot for it listed on IMDb. So that tells you something right there.
Right. So it seems like when he he had this amazing filmography of good films and another film, and then he does this film, and then his career goes bleh.
Well, I mean,
2015.
He was also doing a lot of storyboard and a lot of other art department stuff. So there's probably some stuff there where he's director of animation, which is different from full-on director, but it's got some of the same duties. But yeah, full-on film movie directing. This was the last thing of note he did. This tanked him. And here's the other fun thing. You'll probably bring this another one. Yeah. You'll probably bring this up when we get to the info and stuff. This movie did so poorly. It may be Disney's biggest flop ever.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah.
It was also written by Wendy Wells, and it is based on the book by the comic strip artist Berkeley Breathed, who is famous for the comic strips Bloom County and a couple other ones. But it is actually based on the character of Milo in this movie is actually based on his son.
Really?
It was based on an altercation between his son and his wife.
Oh, okay.
In which he would not eat he wouldn't do something his mom was telling him to do.
Okay, it makes sense.
And he made the statements that we both hated in this film. But we'll get there in a minute. Getting into the cast.
Oh, by the way, Roy would hate this film.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Roy would hate this film.
Francisco. Let's be nice on this one. Francisco would hate this film because this is the planet of the disobedient children.
Yes. And what we're referring to is Roy or Francisco. I mean, from Retro Rewind podcast.
Getting into the cast. Doing the motion capture for Milo, we had Seth Green, who at one point was actually going to be the voice too.
Oh, dear
Fun
Lord.
fact.
Yeah, no.
But he did do the motion capture and voice for a very important Marvel character
Mm.
in a Guardians of the Galaxy film,
Oh.
Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah, and the guard. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Because I glimpsed your notes and I was like, wait a minute, did he do for the
not the original Howard
No,
the
no,
Duck.
no, no, because that was back
Not
in
the
the 80s.
bad Howard the Duck.
Yes.
He's the current Howard the Duck. He did voice him in the Guardians of the Galaxy films when that
Yeah.
comes up, and in What If, because he's in a couple episodes of What If.
Gotcha.
Doing the voice of Milo, though, we have Seth Dusky. And he did additional voices in the Ice Age films,
Okay.
namely Continental Drift, the fourth one, I believe.
I gotcha.
Dan Fogler was the voice of Gribble,
Oh gosh.
and he played Jacob Kowalski in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I actually like Jacob. Like he was a fun
The
character.
character was the best. That was the best character in those films. Unfortunately, I don't think the actor did well here. Anyway, Joan Cusack was the voice of Mom.
Wait, who?
Joan Cusack,
Joan Cusack. Okay. I was like, for
You
a
know,
second, I was
Jessie from Toy Story.
Yes. Oh, that makes sense because it's
Yeah.
not. It sounds like her. Of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
Elizabeth Harnois, I probably said that wrong, was the voice of Key. And Jacob, do you remember on Saturday mornings, about the time the cartoons were starting to fall off and we were getting into the more educational live action stuff that most of the time we didn't watch
Right.
on ABC,
But
and we did get
What-
ABC,
late 90s,
mid 90s.
mid 90s. Okay.
There was a live action show called Adventures in Wonderland.
I remember that. Remember some.
And it's got a lot of creepy costumes. Like Power Rangers is less creepy.
Oh.
Monsters are less creepy.
Oh, okay.
She played Alice. She was the main character in 100 episodes of that show.
Yikes.
Yeah. Mindy Sterling was the voice of the supervisor. And she played Aunt May in Spider-Man 2 the video game.
Oh, okay.
Not the movie, the video game.
the video game. Okay.
Kevin Calhoun, or Kevin Cahoon, I may be saying that one wrong,
Mm.
was Wingnut in this film.
Oh gosh, Wingnut.
And he played Hugo in the Netflix's version of A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Ah.
And Tom Everett Scott played Dad. And in Batman, the Brave and the Bold,
Mm-hmm.
he played Booster Gold.
Oh, okay. A series I never seen. So okay.
It's actually a pretty decent show.
Okay.
What little I remember watching.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts connections.
Hmm.
How many we got?
This was 2011. When did the first game come out?
2002.
2002. So
But in all honesty, while that can somewhat help,
yes.
It may also not help knowing what year any of this stuff came out.
Okay. So I'll probably give a more favorable guess, maybe 4.
No,
Lower or higher?
lower.
1.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And this was a single character who appears only on the Destiny Isle sections in 2 games, but he is based on Final Fantasy X character,
Oh.
Waka.
Oh.
D. Bradley Baker, the voice of Two Cats. If you knew Two Cats had a voice in this.
Which one was Two Cats?
That was the robot cat pet thing.
Oh, that.
That was Two Cats.
Squawk had a name. Two
Yes.
Cat.
And that was played by D. Bradley Baker,
Really? Okay.
aka every single clone trooper that's not live action.
That is true.
But yeah, he was Waka in 2 of the Kingdom Hearts games, and his voice is odd
Hmm.
in that. It's not his best role. He's not doing a good impression of what's his name? The guy who plays Bender on Futurama and is Jake the dog in Adventure Time.
You got me.
It's that guy. But anyway,
Okay.
what do we got in info and stuff?
All right. So info and stuff. IMDb has a 5.5 out of 10. Has Rotten
It's better than I expected.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. You know,
Certified rotten, I bet.
yeah, it's very rotten. Has 78% rotten score, and its audience score was 40. So apparently the audience liked it a little more than the critics.
Sounds like the critics liked it more if it was 78.
No, apologize. 37. I
Okay.
read that backwards. You gotta love dyslexia.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, neither side really liked it.
No. But like it was very rotten. All right, be able to watch on Disney Plus if you're subscribed to Disney Plus. Production was Walt Disney Pictures, who probably just more financed it, what have you.
Finance and distributed is my guess.
Yes, they did. Primarily produced by Image Movers Digital, which is now debunked.
Like it was debunked. It was defunct before this movie came out.
Really?
Yeah. You know what movie killed it? It was a Disney film that they did.
What?
A Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
That's the one that killed it. But this movie was far enough in production
Ooh.
that they finished it.
Ooh. So that might call for a Christmas Carol on Christmas.
Maybe.
All right. So it obviously was distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It had a runtime 88 minutes. Its release day, it first released or went to theaters on March 6th, 2011 at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was released nationwide here in the United States on March 11th of the same year. Box office. This is cringy. It had an estimated budget of $150 million. Its opening weekend was $6.9 million on March 13th. Its US and Canada gross altogether was $21.3 million. It earned a little bit more internationally with $39.2 million. So
This
now,
movie lost so much money.
yes. So
And that's not counting marketing.
no. So what I want to do, I want to throw a contrast to you. So okay, we have done the review over The Black Cauldron.
Yes.
What was that? 2 years ago?
2 or 3.
2-3 years ago. Be like, okay, the movie lost money in theaters.
Yeah.
So it had an estimated budget of $44 million. At that time, it was
Half the price.
but
there was inflation. So
yes, there was inflation, but the movie only made $21.3 million. So yeah, it lost a little bit of money. This sucker lost millions. It's like a certain film that Disney put out more recently in the last year.
Yeah.
Strange Worlds, which went to theaters,
And we
still haven't reviewed it.
me and Jacob still have not watched it.
No. But I've heard
Not because we're trying to stay away from it. It literally went into theaters and left theaters before we had a chance to react to it, and we just haven't gotten around to reviewing it yet.
it was in theaters for a month when Disney pulled it.
The worst month for them to put it in theaters for us too, because it was mid-November.
Yeah, mid-November. And like, you know, that's unheard of for a company to do that, to pull a movie that quick. Now, be like what I have heard, but again, this is going a little
Especially
tangent.
since we didn't hear about Strange
Worlds.
Magic. That's a
Strange
different thing.
World.
Strange Magic, I don't think we even heard about it until like right before it came out.
Yeah.
They just did not talk about that film.
Yeah. So Strange Worlds, be like you have a movie that just had so many bipolar, you know, people talking about it. Now I've heard people within our community say they love Strange Magic.
Strange Worlds.
Strange Worlds. That's what I meant to say. Strange Worlds.
I know.
Strange Worlds was a good film. There was problems with it, but it was still a good, decent film.
We'll review it eventually.
We will review it eventually. But this movie,
I'll even tell you we probably won't review it during Bad Movie Month.
yes.
We'll do it as a normal review.
So here's the issue. So when Disney counts all their movies, this isn't counted.
That's because this is not a Walt Disney Animation Studios film.
I agree.
It is not counted among the it's not counted in the same lists as Tangled and Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph and all those. It is one that they distributed for somebody else.
Yes.
It is as much a Disney film as really Strange Magic was.
So here's the kicker. Here's the kicker with that. So you'd be like, you made that point. In in Disney's promotions, they use Who Framed Roger Rabbit in their catalog of movies in their top movies they did. They always do. Be like it was funded by Disney. It was funded by Disney.
It was, and it is and it does use a lot of Disney characters, and I don't know, and it was animated by Walt Disney Animation Studios.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was.
No, it was not.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Just
Yeah.
double checking.
Yeah, double check me. Be like, what I understand, Who Framed Roger Rabbit was a project that Disney started, but then, like when it came to production and everything, it was out of house. It was in Europe, and it was distributed under Touchstone.
It was distributed under Touchstone and Amblin, but that's for different reasons. Technically, The Nightmare Before Christmas was also a Touchstone film.
Yes,
It was since been moved into the Walt Disney canon.
yes, it has. But I don't think Disney's gonna, claim this one as,
No.
oh my gosh, one of our best films. No, it tanked so bad. So getting back into info and stuff.
yeah.
let me
And
get-
while I read,
let me get back to my notes. All right, so I meant to go look for the what it ranked within the year of 2011. I didn't bother because I knew this was gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So home release. Mars Needs Mom was released on Blu-ray 3D when that was a thing. DVD and video or movie download. Again, early download stuff or in 2011. The release was produced in 3 different physical packages. A 4-disc combo pack, Blu-ray 3D, DVD, and digital copy. A 2-disc Blu-ray combo pack, and a single DVD pack. A digital copy included. The digital copy included with the 4-disc combo pack is a separate disc that allows users to download a copy of the film onto a computer through iTunes or Windows Media Player. Remember those times,
Yeah.
folks?
this was before the idea that you would just stream the film off the internet.
Yeah, exactly. So you got a disc, you got a DVD disc, and then you downloaded it to your computer. Wild times. So, with all that said, the movie also, the film is also a movie downloaded on, was downloaded or on-demand options. All versions of the films, except for the on-demand options, include Fun with Seth and Mars 101 bonus features, while the Blu-ray 2D version additions included deleted scenes, the Life on Mars, the full motion capture experience feature, and extended opening movie clip. The 3D version had an alternate scene called Mom Napping, a finished 3D alternative scene of the Martians abducting Milo's mother. So that is all I have for an info and stuff.
Okay, to answer the question,
Okay.
according to IMDb,
Okay then.
One of the production companies was Walt Disney Animation Studios, which was specifically the Walt Disney Feature Animation, which went uncredited.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was done in-house. It was
Yeah.
animated in-house at Disney. Now, I do know many of the classic Warner Brothers animators, such as Chuck Jones, I think came in to do the Warner Brothers stuff, but they did it at Walt Disney.
Oh, okay.
That I do remember.
They're gonna be like, I'll be like, I may have misunderstood what I was.
Yeah, no worries, no
information.
worries.
So they're gonna be like, it's always good to double check when someone says something. But that is all I have for info and stuff.
And admittedly, it took a little bit of digging to get to that point, so there could be some.
Yeah.
That would even consider that might be wrong because the way it worded it.
Right.
So either way,
Yes.
The summary. Unbeknownst to humans, there is a thriving, technologically sophisticated society of Martians living below the surface of Mars. The Martian supervisor, while observing Earth, sees a mother persuading her son Milo to do his chores. The Martians decide to bring her to Mars, where her momness will be extracted and implanted into the next generation of nanobots. Meanwhile, Milo, who doesn't like to follow house rules and do chores, and has been sent to his room for feeding broccoli to his cat Cujo, sarcastically tells his mother that his life would be better without her, which hurts her deeply. Later that night, Milo goes to apologize, but discovers his mom is taken away. He runs after her, but they end up in separate parts of the Martian spaceship. On Mars, Milo is taken to an underground prison cell. He escapes and is chased by the supervisor's henchmen, but he follows a voice that tells him to jump down chute number 3 and lands in a lower subterranean level. There, he sees a trash-covered landscape that is inhabited by furry creatures. Milo is whisked away by the creatures to meet Gribble, also known as George Ribble, the childlike adult human who has told him to jump down the chute. Gribble explained to Milo that the Martians plan to extract Milo's mom's memories at sunrise using a process that will kill her. Gribble, who is lonely and does not want Milo to leave, pretends to help Milo find his mother. His plan goes awry, leading to Gribble being captured and Milo being chased by the supervisor's henchmen. Milo is rescued by Key, one of the supervisors who raised Martian babies. Milo tells her about his search for his mom and what a human relationship with a mom is like, as Key and her kin are mentored by only nannybots and supervisors and do not know of love. Milo returns to Gribble's home but finds him missing. Gribble's robotic spider, Two-Cat, takes Milo to the Martian compound where Gribble is being prepared for execution. Milo is captured by the henchmen, but Key tosses him a laser gun, allowing him to escape. Milo and Gribble retreat to an even lower uninhabited level, where Gribble describes his mom's abduction and murder by the Martians 20 years ago. Gribble blames himself for her being chosen and regrets that he had not been able to save her. Milo convinces Gribble to actually help him just as Key finds them. They discover an ancient mural of a Martian family and realize that Martian children were not always raised by machines. Gribble explains that Martian female babies are currently raised by nannybots in the technologically advanced society, while the male babies are sent down to be raised by adult male Martians, which are the furry creatures he encountered earlier. Milo, Gribble, and Key save Milo's mom just before sunrise, causing the energy of the extraction device to short out the electronic locks to the control room. This lets the adult males and babies enter, where they run amok, attacking the guards and robots. Milo and his mom steal oxygen helmets and try to escape across the Martian surface, but the supervisor, while attempting to kill them, causes Milo to trip and his helmet shatters. His mom gives him her own helmet, saving Milo, but causing herself to suffocate in the planet's air. The Martians are awed, as this is the first time they had seen love. Gribble finds his own mother's helmet and gives it to Milo's mom, saving her. Milo apologizes to his mom for his earlier words, and the two reconcile. Key brings a ship for them to escape in, but the supervisor intervenes. Key argues that Martians were meant to be raised in families with love, but the supervisor insists that the current situation is better because, to her, it is more efficient. The henchman realizes the supervisor's cruel nature and arrest her, deciding that they now prefer the loving vision of family life, and the other Martians celebrate. Milo, his mom, Gribble, Key, and Two-Cat travel back to Earth. Gribble decides not to stay because he wants to pursue a relationship with Key on Mars. Milo and his mom return home just before Milo's dad arrives. Getting into the trivia for this. According to the Los Angeles Times, Seth Green spent 6 weeks in a special sensor-equipped performance capture suit while performing his lines as Milo. During post-production, the filmmakers noticed that Green was able to physically imitate the movements and behaviors of a 9-year-old boy, but his voice sounded too mature for the character. His voice was replaced by that of 11-year-old Seth Desky. Green's voice still appears as the voice of one of the hippies on the 70s television show Key Watches. The first trailer, which was published on November 22nd, 2010, features Green's voice for Milo intact, implying that Desky replaced the dialogue very shortly after this trailer was released. This movie grossed $6.8 million in its opening weekend, which is the 49th worst opening ever for a film in more than 3,000 theaters. and one of the worst openings for a major 3D release. With a budget of $150 million and a total gross of just $39 million, this movie is considered a massive box office bomb and has the worst ever financial reputation for a film branded by Disney. Its commercial failure contributed to Disney canceling its planned remake of Yellow Submarine, the film the Beatles made,
Oh,
which was to be made with the same motion capture technology.
Right. That's right.
The makers came up with their own alien language for this movie. Elizabeth Harnwath stated in an interview that she and the cast were given scenarios by Simon Wells to which they acted out responses in improvised Martian language. In the exclusive 2016 interview on the now defunct fan site Animation Source, director Simon Wells stated that even though the film underperformed at the box office, he is nonetheless very proud of it, and he still truly believes in its heart and enjoyed working on it the most out of all the movies he had directed, let alone had any involvement in. Wells explained that he made many great friends and loved going to work on every day of the movie's 3-year production, which he finds extremely rare.
Wow.
Yes, Bobo, the Beatles. Did I say something else? If I said something else, I meant the Beatles.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. It'd be like, I heard you say Beatles. And it'd be like, it's understandable. Like, it's one of those films, be like, you loved going to. Be like, you loved every day you were on set. Be like, that is understandable.
I can imagine, based on all the other things we mentioned that he directed, how I could see how this would be like the least stressful.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of it's just really directing.
Yeah.
Like you would a live action film.
Exactly. But yeah, just like it's completely understandable. It's like why he would love this film, even though the film did terribly. It's like I had such a great experience with it. I learned so much. I had great friends, and I just loved my time doing this. So yeah, be like, I think if you have like if something just goes wrong, be like you're still going to enjoy the time you had doing it,
and that's fine. But I wouldn't call this his best movie.
No,
by a long shot.
No, absolutely not. But be like, hey, if he enjoyed the process of doing the film,
that's perfectly fine.
Right on.
So, and plus, this was in 2016. He's done some stuff since then, just not in directing.
Yeah.
Dislikes.
Yeah.
May I go first?
Yes, you may go first. Go ahead.
About 95% of all the problems I have with this film could be fixed if they had done one thing.
Looked over the script.
Made it a hybrid film.
Okay, I can see that.
Because 95% of my issues are with the animation of the humans on here.
Okay.
I will point out, and I will go ahead and give you a preview of one of my likes, and that is the motion capture.
Okay.
This is like the best motion capture movie I've seen.
Okay.
The problem is the motion capture is so good. It is so far past the uncanny valley that it raises the question, did you need to animate the humans? Or would it have worked better if you had just filmed real actors in front of a green screen and composited them into the scenes later?
Okay. I totally see that.
That's my question. Because I get to look at it and because all of the designs for the humans, while they do still have the issue of those being not really based on really a human facial structure.
Yeah,
it's still but it's got human skin. The animation, of course, is based off actual humans acting. It's done very well. You do believe what you're seeing, but the question then becomes, would it have been better overall in general to just have real actors acting off of animated characters in an animated environment? And yeah, I would say on Earth, go ahead and film that in a live action environment, and there have what few Martians we see on screen be animated characters there. That's my question. That's my problem here. It's like the animation is so good in a way that I feel like it's too good. It's got too much polish on the humans.
Yeah, a little bit.
For what this is. This may just be me. You can tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
And I will let you, and I will give it to you.
Okay.
But I don't watch cartoons and animation for realism.
Fair enough.
If I want that, I will go watch a live action film. Here's the thing. I am going to be super excited to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 here in the next couple months.
Mhm.
I would not be this excited if all the human characters in this, especially one in particular, were animated. It would not work for me in this
No,
situation
It wouldn't.
because if they're animated in this style. That's what I mean. If
Yeah,
it's
I get
animated
it.
like it was in the games, where it's more of a cartoony, illustrated human,
Yeah.
you know, I like in the games, I could work with that. But with a realistic human like what is seen here,
Yeah.
I have to ask, what is the point?
Mm-hmm.
I really, really do. So yeah, I think like most of the issues I have, I can just see being that I have with the animation of humans
Okay.
would have been just fixed if they had just had real acting, and I wouldn't have to be going, why does they hold their mouth that way? Why, when his mom screams because she sees she's on Mars, does she close her eyes like she's cry screaming? She's supposed to be scared, and she looks like someone just killed her dog, shot her dog. It's like the wrong type of screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of the things that
It doesn't match.
it doesn't match, and I can understand that in that environment when they were doing it, she would have known what they were looking like. Even the situation when they did this stuff could have been different than when she
Right.
acted out versus what they showed in the screen,
Mhm.
because that is the thing you can do with animations, change stuff out. But I still just think it would have been better in the
Mhm.
long run if you're going to, and it would cost you about the same amount of money. Because that's the thing. You're already paying real actors to come in and do this.
Mhm.
You already have a environment that is going to be edited out.
Mhm.
The only difference is you would be having to use a green or blue screen instead of it just being in a bright white room. And the characters would still have to go through makeup, but instead of having the little motion capture dots placed on their face, it's regular makeup.
Mhm.
It would have, I think, cost the same amount of money, but produce better results.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I am fine with the Martians all being motion capture. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's some aspects of that animation I don't like, but it's livable, a lot more livable than it is with the humans.
Yes.
There's a degree of separation because it's back on the other side of the uncanny valley.
Mhm.
But yeah, 95% I think of all the animation problems I have with this, I do think would be fixed if it was a hybrid film instead of being a fully 3D animated film.
Okay.
And I think that's like most of my problems with motion capture movies anyway, because I feel motion capture works better as a special effect than it does as as a full animation technique.
That is totally understandable.
So yeah, that's my first dislike for this film. What's yours?
Okay, so I am going to adjust my list a little bit to kind of pivot off of yours
Mm-hmm.
because you mentioned my second, so I'm going to shift it to my first dislike.
Oh, you don't like the screaming either.
Yeah, the uncanny valley is so
Yeah.
Alpha,
It's not. It's on the other side of it where because we usually see it on the side where it's too cartoony.
yes. Here
And
it's way
here
it's way
it's too far. It's too good.
yeah, it's too good into that like almost like surreal reality that they look human enough, but it's too frightening to be human.
Yeah.
Be like it's there's too much of this, too much detail in like everything. Be like I give them props for doing it. Do not get me wrong. But at the same time, it has that be like you think of Final Fantasy The Spirit Within.
Which is a much better film.
yeah, a much better film. A movie that's actually thought out.
It's
Unlike
actually got,
this film.
It's actually got good animation, even though it's motion capture.
Yes. Where in this film, be like they use motion capture, but it's done. They go the opposite way with it. They put too much detail in everything. And one of my little bonus points be like where Milo, our main character, be like obviously they took Seth Green's head and they just squished it down to make it look like a kid.
They made a younger version of Seth Green,
Yeah.
but then put somebody else's voice on it.
Yeah. And my,
Couldn't
and
you
my-
have pitched Seth Green's voice up and done the same thing?
that's true. Bonus points for me be like Milo's character. Like for most time, he looks like a grumpy cat. He looks like
Oh, yeah.
a cat half the time. But I digress.
Also,
with that.
these are the ugliest humans.
You are not kidding.
And I don't mean that like the design, I don't think that's the animation's fault. I just think they
Right.
designed the ugliest humans for this thing.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
No offense to Seth Green, because I know that's his head made childish.
Yes.
But,
Which was probably a bad idea.
oh yeah,
So, and then you have the motion capture of how like all these characters run, and it has this uncanny fluidity where it doesn't quite work when like the characters are running or they're trying to jump off things. There's not that like natural bounce to anything. It's got this almost kind of like a rubber, like tug and squish kind of thing.
you should want squash and squish when you're doing animation, but
Yeah.
because
You're doing
They
such
are-
a realistic
because they're not
characters.
using actual animation techniques, they're using whatever comes off of that motion capture.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
No, you don't. And it's the way like if they were to use a little more of like, the what traditional animation would have done, be like it would have probably made it work a little bit better, but you have so much of this stiffness.
Mhm.
Or it'd be like the knees don't fold as the way they should.
Yeah.
And there's just like when Drew said when the mother realizes she's on Mars, like her
eyes should be wide and scared like that.
Yeah.
Not, somebody just shot my dog and now I'm going to cry scream.
yeah. And there's
Which sorry, that scene bugs me.
yeah, I agree. Be like there's like that entire scene, they could have shot that from a different angle or something like that because it makes more sense if you were to take multiple shots
Mhm.
from that and just made this like collage of different points where she's like breaking down, because that would have been amazing because
Yeah.
they were doing that in that time period. But be like the animation again, to be like it's good, but it's too good. And at that point they were still kind of working through that
Mhm.
that process of the uncanny valley. They've gotten better at it, but at this point in time, it was oh my gosh, this
Well,
looks too frightening
The
to
what,
be real.
what they've done to get better at it is to lean away from realism.
Agreed.
If
This is
you
what this movie
if you look at the movies in the last 10-15 years,
Right.
it's really since this movie came out, you will notice a slide over to more cartoony, for lack of a better term, but like more like your Looney Tunes, your old Mickey Mouse cartoon
Yeah.
style of animation, just in 3D. It's
Yeah.
more artistic and symbolic, not trying to be this ultra realistic simulation.
Yeah.
Granted, Pixar still does more of that ultra realistic simulation. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
But people realize they don't have to be Pixar.
No,
They realize stuff like
you can't be Pixar.
Hotel Transylvania, for instance, is a example of this 3D but cartoony like movement.
Exactly.
This exaggeration.
Mm-hmm.
They realized they could exaggerate after this film, and I think that's what makes a lot of more modern films better than what we see here.
Yeah, fair enough. So that is the uncanny valley and how the
Mhm.
characters move are definitely our human characters. And
Yeah.
here's another, like the aliens are the exact same way. Be like, you have this ultra detail like on the supervisor, which is like, okay, she looks like that one
Yeah.
character from Star Wars The Force Awakens, except
I know
she
who you're
looks
talking about.
better. I can't remember her name.
Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata. That's right. Maz Kanata.
Maz is the first name. I'm not sure on the last name.
Yeah, I think it's Maz. But be like, looks like that character, but it's just like had like the high resolution detail they have on all these characters is a bit creepy. Let's just say that.
There.
So yeah,
we're-
uncanny realistic valley
Mhm.
is just a little too much at this point. Thankfully, they've gotten better.
So my second one is going to come off of yours. We kind of had a nice, good segue there.
Okay.
Over illustration on all characters.
Okay.
Every character is too detailed. Now I get that the technology allows us to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I accept the that level of detail when you're looking at a character like, say, the Incredible Hulk the Incredible Hulk, and also all the Avengers movies, or Rocket Raccoon, or to use a non-Marvel reference, Heck, Jar Jar Binks
Yeah, George
or Gollum or
oh, definitely got
I'm trying to think of some other ones off the top of my head where we've seen that. And my mind is going blank. I'm sorry, but but you know what I'm talking about? These digital, these characters that are obviously we know they're CG because that's the only way they could have been produced.
exactly.
But when you are looking at the scene and you take that, oh, this is how they had to do it kind of mindset out, you look at
Yeah.
it looks like they're there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's the way it's supposed to look like. And there it works. But that's because they are being shot in a real environment. You have to have that detail or it does not look right unless you
Exactly.
are doing something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where you do have cartoony characters in live action sets and vice versa. The Sonic the Hedgehog movies are another good example of what I was trying to get at a second
Okay,
ago.
makes sense.
But stop and think. Mario came out last year too.
Yeah,
Was it last year or year before last? I think it was last year.
last year.
Now there's detail in the fabrics of that film.
Yes.
And you can kind of see a little bit of the hairs in Mario's mustache are very good detail. It's not just, two brown objects hanging off of his nose.
Yeah,
Like
you see the hair.
but it's not, it is, the detail is not in your face. It's not,
Yeah,
look at how detailed it is. It's not like the Pokemon are in Detective Pikachu,
yeah,
which I don't really, I think that's the opposite there, but that's still in the live action thing. That kind of works there. If you are making, this is Drew's opinion. Take it for what it's worth.
with a grain of Lot's life.
Yes. If you are making an animated film, you are allowed and probably should be doing a bit of minimalism in your design because there is not a single person who has a grain of good taste, I should add, that wants to go in there and see this level of detail on cartoon characters who are full-blown cartoon characters. It leads to the uncanny valley problems that you were bringing up because it makes them too realistic, and it's really bad on all of the Martian characters because the Martian characters, I think, were intended, especially the males, were intended to be these cute, cuddly creatures.
Yes,
They are the most disturbing things put on film.
agree. They were.
E.T. is, well, E.T. is still uglier than these things, but that's just because
E.T. phoned me home.
E.T. is an ugly creature, let's be honest, but he's a cute, ugly creature. It's weird like that. No, I mean, these things they don't look cute and cuddly.
Yeah,
They don't look like, they're not going to be the first coming of Grogu.
no, you're not kidding there.
Or any other cute thing like that. These are just the ugly, these aren't things I'd want to hang around. Honestly, they look like the worst stereotypes you can think of hippies.
You're not kidding.
The worst stereotypes. Nobody wants that. I'm sorry. They are very disturbing to watch, and half the time I couldn't even look at them myself. But yeah, I think the amount of detail they put on these characters, instead of making them like pleasant to look at, they went for so much of the ugly that they forgot that it's got to look good too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thing. There's just too much detail in the character models in this movie for my liking.
Okay, so like kind of bouncing off of yours, you had the you mentioned detail. So you have the character of Gribble.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the amount of detail ought to be like, it's impressive how much detail they have on his outfit. Wow, his goggles to his shoulder pads. There's so much detail. Be like, if you pause it, okay, it looks great, but there's way too much noise going on. And plus, I don't like the character Gribble. He's a royal pain.
We're gonna get to him. We're gonna get to him. But here's the thing. In October, we're putting on there the movie Igor from, I think, early 2000s. There's a line in that movie, because I have seen that movie one time, where Igor is talking about the monster, because the monster wants to be like a Hollywood starlet, because the monster's a woman in this one.
Yeah.
And he says to the effect of, yeah, that's a image you want to see on a giant 84-foot screen.
Oh, good night.
And then they do a close-up on her as that's the joke. Gribble in this is worse.
Oh my gosh. Just the creep factor.
Dale Gribble from King of the Hill needs to be suing.
Oh my gosh. But like, yeah,
that is a detriment to Dale's dead bug.
I guarantee we could probably spend another hour talking about the character of Gribble.
We'll get to Gribble in a minute.
We'll get to him in a minute, but oh my gosh. But like, you could probably dedicate an entire episode to this character, break it down psychologically and everything about this character. And it's just, why? Like, I understand it's the early 10s of the 2000s, but good night, no. Good night. No. I mean, like, the detail, they put so much detail into his character design. It's like, it's almost blurred and muddy in some cases. Like, there's too much to look at. You can't see it all. And I can almost imagine going to the theater and thinking, this is a good idea. This sounds like a good date movie. And you're watching this, oh, dear Lord, what am I watching?
No, this would not have been a movie I would have thought to take a date to.
No. Be like, even like a bros night out. Go like, hey, let's go watch this movie. This was a bad idea. Hey, bro. It'd be like, it's like, yeah, I know we don't drink.
This is
but
what
you want to go to the bar.
This is the kind of movie you take a kid to thinking it will shut them up for an hour, and they get out of this movie and they're crying their head off because the horror, nightmares upon nightmares.
They're running for the bathroom, screaming. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared of this fuzzy character. Who's just like, oh my gosh.
They're running out of the theater saying,
"This is against my will. Against my will.
Yes.
Against my will. Against my will. This is totally against my will."
That's a joke for a very select few people.
Yes, you're welcome.
But I don't care.
And I've said it many a times on the show. You finally get to hear it. Yes. All right, so yes, the uncanny about, there's so much detail and everything. Like watching this on a 100-foot screen or whatever on your standard theater screen would have probably been the thing of nightmares watching this.
Oh shoot, watching it on your cell phone screen would give you nightmares.
Oh yeah, it's like, ugh. Be like, don't get you started on like
there should
the backgrounds, like everything else is like, ugh, this looks muddy. It looks like, what were you thinking? But anyways,
it's your second dislike unless you finish.
Yeah. Let me get in my second dislike as I pull it up. Come on. Thank you. All right. So, oh brother. So speaking of the background, speaking of everything in this film, like there is something there. Something out there that says, let's make this movie.
Something out there
that should never
is
be made.
Frightening me tonight.
Yes. So be like, you have this thing. It's like in search of Titanic. I'm making this reference for those who have listened to our previous episode or was there when we did our review with Nate Marchand from the Monster Island Film Vault. What were you thinking? It's like, be like as one reviewer put it, there's no imagination in this movie. It is a bland, boring movie. And it is a bland, boring film where nothing happens. It has the most bland, boring story. Like the center conflict is stupid beyond belief. And let me describe you this wonderful, amazing, imaginary plot.
Yeah, because I didn't mention why the Martians needed moms. Really.
Oh yeah. This is
why they were. All this was happening in the first place. It's because the supervisor hates men.
Yeah, she's a sexist.
Yeah, she's sexist. That's the
she is totally sexist.
She is the most liberal, feminist, sexist person that ever existed.
Yeah, on a cartoon.
Yeah,
But
I'm not saying feminists in general are sexist.
no, right.
I'm saying the worst sexist feminist out there is who this woman is based off of.
Yes.
Whoever that person is to you.
Yes. So here's the general plot of this movie: that Mars, at some point, with the supervisor's great idea, hey, let's separate the sexes. Let put the boys in the dumpster. That's where they belong, where she says. And let's raise the girls with nanny bots. But the nanny bots can't understand emotion. So they kidnap women. They kidnap mothers who were good disciplinarians from Earth and then abstract their disciplinary memories and vaporize them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're programmed them into robots. So be like, you can't just take all those memories and place them in all the other, nanny bots. No. You have to do it multiple times. Like, does the programming wear out? Do you lose the memory? What's going on? This is the stupidest plot. I'm not one of the worst plots, but it's a terrible plot. Be like, okay, here's your premise. It's a bad premise. Be like, my wife watched the trailer. It's like, this looks terrible. Be like, it didn't even describe what's going on. It's like, oh, because my mom got needed Mars Needs Moms. Never explains it. And it barely explains anything throughout the entire course of the film. It only explains anything at the very end of the film. So there's no lead. No, oh my gosh.
I just put on the screen, and you can see it easier over here, Jacob, on mine. This is what an illustration from the book. These are the Martians from the book.
I see that.
And I hate to tell you, the illustrations in the book look far better than the Martians in the movie.
You're not kidding. Oh
They
my
actually are
God.
interesting.
So be like, thinking, I did not expect him to do this. And it threw me for a loop.
I admittedly thought of it while you were talking because it was
Yeah.
based on what the point you're making.
Yeah.
There was a better one back here. Keep talking. I'll bring
Yeah,
it
but
up.
this movie in general is a poor execution of a story. Like my wife said, be like, were they high? Were they on some kind of medication? Were they drunk when they wrote this? Were they even have a single solitary thought?
I know.
Wow. Okay.
Now, admittedly, looking at a poster from the movie and being scared by it while they're stealing a mom, by the way.
Yeah. Wow. Just wow.
This is what happens when you have the creator of your book and the writer of your book also be a good illustrator, despite this, instead of whoever designed these things.
Wacky designs, which look really cool. And then you get this weird bug-eyed alien design. Very prototypical. It looks like a Martian. It looks like an alien from something in the 50s. It's like no imagination whatsoever in this film. It's just so...
It's a Martian designed by committee, not by someone who has passion.
Apparently. It's like, oh, this, like in Search of Titanic, there's a few ideas in here that could have taken, a few, wax from like someone doctoring and smoothing everything out. Like, I think one reviewer, like one very well-respected movie reviewer, is a movie that could have taken a little more polish. And if they would have like buffed it out a little bit more and gave it some wax and give it some love, be like, this movie could have been something. But it looks like how Drew said, be like a movie done by committee and literally plot. Here's your story. Go with it. And it's just a train wreck of a film. And again, be like, they explain things, but it's terribly explained. And everything in this film is explained terribly. But like,
It's a dumb explanation in general.
It's very dumb explanation. It's just a bad film. It's a movie that could have been something if they would have taken their time with it. But apparently they didn't. It took them 3 years to make this thing, and it's still garbage. So yeah, that is my be like, it just bland imagination, aka it's boring. It's a boring film, a boring story, be like the script is boring, how the characters interact were boring, and oh gosh, yeah,
That's the worst thing you can say about this film is that it's boring.
it is very
It is
boring.
unoffensive except to your eyes, just in the general character design.
Mhm.
But even that is that way because they were lazy.
Yeah, it was a very lazy,
Very
movie.
lazy production, and I think that's the entire thought process behind the motion capture animated film in general, is that it's just a very lazy form of animation, because you just have people go out there and act, and you take the one you like and
Mhm.
you throw it into whatever environment you put it into.
Yeah,
It doesn't exactly instill care. When you look at something like that where it was done well, like Polar Express
Mhm.
or Monster House,
yes,
that it's done very well, because it really feels like they had ideas for what they wanted to look like, how
Mhm.
they wanted it to work and how to look. This felt like, we've got a script, let's put something out there and we'll do it in as fast and cheap and slapdash as possible. And granted, to some degree, considering the last movie killed the studio and they were only, they're still part way in production on this, they may not have had time to go back and polish it.
that's
I,
true.
I would have to make a guess.
Yeah,
So I don't want to levy too much criticism towards the makers of this film, because
Right.
they may not have been able to have time to even give it the polish they would have wanted to give it.
Mm.
There may have been some things that would have looked good, but the thing is, this is my biggest issue with, I think, the film in general. It feels like a cash grab. I don't know how it's a cash grab, but it feels like a cash grab. It's not. I can't imagine what it would have been trying to capitalize on, because space movies were not big at that point.
No, they weren't.
Most of these actors, with the exception of Seth Green, I only kind of vaguely know. So I mean, and I didn't even know who. I never even heard of the book
Mhm.
before I saw the movie. So
Yes,
it really does. It's got stunt casting to it technically, but
Mhm.
that's like the lowest amount of stunt casting you can possibly do for a film.
right.
And it was, animated quickly, and like you said, didn't have enough polish. The script needs a lot of work, and really, it needs a script doctor.
It does.
It comes down to what it feels like is that they made this movie as cheap as they could get it, and the thought process was, and this is what I consider the worst sin an animation can make. It's being made for kids. We don't have to put our full effort into it,
True.
because the kids will watch it anyway. I'm sorry. You should never make any movie with the idea that it's good enough. You should, as an artist,
Agreed.
any piece of artwork you do, if you really care about it. Not granted, I know there's some stuff you do to get it out there and you're not impressed by your own work, and that's usually the stuff people go, ooh, it's wonderful. And the stuff you're really proud of, nobody bothers to pay attention to.
Exactly.
I know that's how that works. But if you truly care deeply about what you are making, like Simon Wells says on that thing, and I'm sure he looks back at it, has a lot of fond memories.
Oh yeah.
But at this stage of the game, yes, this was not the first motion captured 3D movie.
Yeah.
There was a couple of others. Some were good, some bad.
True.
You were still in the Wild West of that.
Agreed.
You should have been experimenting, seeing what you could do, pushing that technology as far as it could go, making something that would trying to make something that would put Pixar to shame. Even if it fails at doing that, you should be trying to do that. And it really does feel like what you were doing was trying to put a movie out there for the summer for the kids to watch so they can quit bugging their mama. Give their mama 2 hours of break. And teach this message how you should love your family. Not that that's a bad message. Do not get me wrong. Appreciating what you have and loving the people who are loving your family, that's a great message. The problem is, I don't feel that Milo learned that lesson.
He
That was not the lesson Milo learned in the film. He learned it quickly because the only reason he found out his mama was getting abducted was because he was going to apologize because he already felt bad. He had what this movie is trying, I think, to tell kids. He has it down in 5 minutes into the film.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's really hits is the fact that he did not get to apologize for his mom got abducted, and it was showing how you should never act like that because you don't know what the future holds.
Exactly.
And maybe that's what they were going for, but it felt like the character of Milo had no development, had no growth. Gribble had very little growth. He had very little. But most of that was retro growth because it was us learning about him. He didn't actually change much as a character other than realizing, okay, yeah, I don't need to be keeping this kid from saving his mom. I need to be helping him save his mama.
Yeah.
It feels like they didn't know what movie they were making.
Right.
Now, I have not read the book that this is based on, and I'm not going to be going and looking for it anytime soon. I'm sorry, I'm just not. But I suspect, even though I'm fairly certain it's like a picture book, that the story is not that shallow, knowing the author. Because I've read a lot of the Berkeley Breathed stuff. I doubt it's that shallow. But at the same time, when you look at other movies, other motion capture animated 3D films that are based off of picture books, you know, the 10 pagers you read to kids at night that have the pretty pictures but only like 8 words on the page, stuff like, I don't know, Polar Express, that is so much better. The film is so much better than this. You had what to shoot for, the quality to shoot for. You should have been aiming for something like that. You should have been making something that was of that quality. And instead, you made something of the most dull, boring quality that is not. You didn't even give them stupid fart jokes.
No.
This is a kid's film. People always make the mistake, I think, of overplaying the fart joke. You didn't even have one in here. I don't know what comedy you thought these kids were going to laugh at because admittedly, there's no jokes in here, or what jokes there are fall flat.
They're extremely flat.
They're not funny. It really does not feel like you knew what movie you were making. You had no goal. You were just making an adaptation and doing whatever you wanted to do. Simon Wells, you are far, far better than this.
Agreed.
Because I've seen The Prince of Egypt. I've seen Balto. I've seen Fievel Goes West.
Which we all reviewed.
I've seen a movie that's really not my favorite movie. In fact, I think it's a bad movie month movie, but it's a better movie than this. We're Back, a Dinosaur Story is a far better movie than this, and I don't like that film. But it has heart. This movie does not have heart. And I'm sorry. If you have listened to bad movie month movies from us before, reviews from us before, you know, Jacob.
Yes.
What do I appreciate in a movie the most when I can't appreciate anything else? What should at least be there? What was the one thing Leo the Lion did not have that made me get graded as 0.0?
You put me on the spot and I went blank.
Effort.
There we go. Effort.
There is some effort in this. I will give you that. But it is so low effort that I cannot care about this film. When I say that this film is a meh film, that's not a good thing. That's not saying, oh, it could have been better. Yeah, it could have been better.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. It could have been worse and entertaining, which would have been a better time for me. Because here's the thing. If we're talking about entertainment factor, this was not as entertaining as In Search of Titanic.
At least that was stupid.
That was a stupid movie. That was a dumb movie. It was a lot of bad stuff, a lot of things that made my head hurt. But it was fun to watch.
Yes.
It was entertaining. This movie is not entertaining. It is boring. It is dull. It is meh. It is the kind of film that I was on my phone the entire time I was watching and not really paying attention to the film. And if I cannot pay attention to the film, how do I expect a 5-year-old to watch it?
Mm-hmm. And not go running screaming out of the theater.
Yeah. I know why this film did poorly. Nobody wanted to watch it. And if you can't make people go to watch it, I'm sorry. That's your failure.
Mm-hmm.
There are straight to DVD Barbie movies that are better than this.
I agree. I completely
Not that
agree.
I've watched a lot of those. I've not actually watched any of those except for a couple scenes here and there that pop up on like, YouTube reels
Yeah.
and such like that. Those are two different things.
Yes, they are.
But you know what I mean? I've seen something that's like, oh, that's cheap. That's definitely toy selling, but
Yes.
that's at least interesting. You know what? That's more interesting than whatever was happening in this film. So yeah,
Yes.
that's my third dislike. I probably could have rant mastered, but I don't really feel that strongly for it
Yeah.
because this is not Leo the Lion bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm griping more than I'm doing anything else here. So yeah, my
Yeah.
third dislike, the lack of effort of trying to make at least an entertaining film.
Okay. So here is a good contrast. I was thinking about this a minute ago because you're talking about live action hybridization,
Mhm.
or as in this film's case, they did motion capture.
Yeah.
A movie that came out the exact same year. We've already reviewed this film.
Mhm.
The Adventures of Tintin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, done incredibly well movie. Like, yeah, it's got problems here and there.
And it's even motion capture.
Yeah, it's motion capture. But it's done so well. They don't go into uncanny. They use the art style from the comic to make the film more I love Tintin. I love that film. It's a
It
great film.
makes what that does for that film. The fact that they used a not surreal. That's not the word I want to
No.
use, but an exaggerated art style
Exactly.
based on the comic strip. Admittedly,
Yes.
doing that allows for any jankiness in the animation
Exactly.
to feel like it's supposed to be there.
Uh-huh. In this
You
movie,
don't-
it's just
Now, you're not supposed to do it to mask that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
There. I'm saying this is that nice little thing that, yeah, they use motion capture.
right.
And you can tell in a couple shots where it's the motion capture is the issue,
Uh-huh.
is the animation issue in that, but never feels like it's out of place.
Right.
This film, the animation feels out of place for all the characters. 'Cause
exactly.
all these characters are ugly.
They are ugly. They are very, very ugly.
No offense meant to you, Seth Green.
All right, so get into.
What is your third dislike?
Oh, by the way, I do want to do a small little pitch. So if you want the book, it's actually, I think it's available on Amazon Prime for $33.99 and a paperback for $32.99, or Kindle for $7.99. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, that's available. Let me get back to my notes. So like I said in the very top of this film, to use a reference from the MCU, everyone has Hulkbuster armor like plot armor the entire time. It's so unreal, uncanny. How many times we have Milo who goes down this third chute and drops how many stories, how hundreds of feet, and just barrel rolls his way down this pile of trash. One, where does the trash come from? Two, be like, nothing is explained. And
The trash comes from the girl Martians.
Yeah, apparently. But
where else is it going to come from?
Well, be like, it looks like a junkyard where you're landing on steel and fragmented parts and what have you. And he just tumbles through everything and he's fine. We understand he's an 11-year-old boy. I get it. You bounce back from everything. You're not going to bounce back from a 200-foot drop twice, at least 3 times.
Fair.
And
at least one of those times he had the giant hot air balloon to slow his fall.
I agree there.
At least there was that, but that was only one of those times.
And again, be like, you can suspend reality, like watching something. But when you know for a fact, like if a human being was to walk on the surface of Mars with no spacesuit whatsoever, they will be dead within 30 seconds. So you have
Okay,
okay,
not fighting you.
okay,
There is atmosphere on Mars.
okay,
It is not breathable atmosphere by humans. That is
Yeah.
why you have to. They at least had to have the helmets.
right.
Because the only, admittedly, I'm getting a lot of this from the book The Martian. So there may be that it's
A really good book, by the way.
it's a good book. And it is, as far as I know, scientifically accurate in what it states about all that, or at least extrapolates from good modern science,
Yes.
from what I understand.
Yes.
Except for if you're going off of the real science, the only thing I think they really got wrong is the fact that the sun would not be golden.
Hmm.
Sunrise on Mars is not golden; it's blue, because the atmosphere creates a blue sky
Hmm.
because of how much is in the because it's got different particles in the air. Sunrises in on Mars, I believe, are blue,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong.
could be wrong.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
So
you're good.
I think you could exist on there if you had with what the movie gives is with a breathable, with helmets that can hold and replenish air and does seal off good around the neck the way the
Okay.
movie shows it.
Yes.
I don't think that's too unbelievable.
Okay. So just like based on what I understand
yeah.
now what I'm trying to say is be like, if you ever watched the movie Total Recall from the 80s, Arnold Schwarzenegger film, what have you, be like, if you're exposed to Martian atmosphere, you are going to puff up and go poof. Now, granted, that's more
That was air pressure,
that's
but
air
yeah.
pressure. But to me, my suspension of reality goes poof when you have a character who's only wearing a helmet. And
Granted, it looks stupid.
yes, it does look stupid. It looks
I
I
am not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, it looks very stupid. And it looks very unrealistic because there again,
Especially when you consider, and I'm actually backing you up now.
okay.
These aliens, assuming we are using evolution as your base model of how
Yes.
the creature got to where it was, the Martians evolved on Mars, which means they should be able to breathe Mars's atmosphere
But they can't.
and be able to withstand Martian pressure, which means Milo, being from Earth, should be, and Gribble for that matter,
Mhm.
should be having to wear the helmets the entire time because it would just be normal atmosphere in the buildings.
Yeah.
Much like here.
Yeah, exactly. So-
Also, he gets used to Mars gravity really quick.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. You lose that suspension of reality when you have characters who are walking around on the surface of Mars, who is like the human body cannot survive outside, Earth's atmosphere for very long.
Mhm.
And be like, they're just bouncing around. Be like, again, they're using realistic technology. Be like realism when it comes to their motion capture and their animation. So in that, be like, I understand if they did more of like a cartoony kind of style.
Yeah,
Be
you
like,
can
okay,
accept that more.
you can accept that. But when you have a
We-
realistic model of a
Mhm.
human being
Mhm.
in Mars atmosphere and they're just bouncing around, and here's the other one that got me. Be like telling that these characters have Hulkbuster like plot armor. Is that our main character Milo, his helmet shatters. So his head should have popped in 3 seconds, but it didn't. Obviously, because you can't do that.
Well,
but-
yeah, you can't do that in a kids movie, and
You
plus,
can't do that.
this is Magic Mars, not real Mars.
Yeah, exactly. And so be like, you have this very nice little touching moment where the mother is willing to sacrifice her life in order to save her son. Very touching. And like, it's a very touching scene, but at the same time, be like, and so our goober over here, it's, oh yeah, I forgot this. And he goes bouncing off the surface. And again, the guy hasn't been on the surface of Mars for years because he's been a hermit down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes bouncing and finds this helmet that's been buried there for how many years? He's been a hermit.
25.
25 years.
They did say it was 25. And I can see him knowing about where he stopped when his mother died, and that's where he would have
Yes.
dropped it. And maybe he would have thought, maybe it's there, and I can do this, and I can save this at the last
Yes.
minute. In my mind, I'm thinking, go get the one Wingnut's trying to hand you through the window. That's probably faster.
Probably faster. But it's
And at the same time, once again, I'm backing you up now.
yes.
Milo's helmet is broken.
Yes.
How long can a human breathe without oxygen, without the atmosphere we're used to?
Not a matter of seconds.
Matter of seconds. I swear it's 5 minutes from the time his helmet shatters until they get the helmet back on him.
No, it's more of like a couple of minutes.
It's too many minutes.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's way too
There's
many
too
minutes.
much stuff that happens because you have this slow. It takes Gribble too long to realize, oh, he needs a helmet. Oh, I know where one is. Let me run halfway past where Milo went,
Mhm.
gets it, and runs back, gets it on him, and gets it.
Yeah, I agree. Be like the
Milo should be dead.
yeah, Milo,
But
Gribble, Milo Gribble,
should've-
every
every character in here should have died 5 times over.
Exactly.
Martians included. And I am
Exactly.
not saying that out of malice.
Yes.
I'm saying out of physics.
Yes.
Everyone should be dead 5 times over.
Or to quote Bartok, be like dead, all dead.
All the Martians are dead. They're dead.
They're dead. Unless they're like, that one last Romanov who got away, which thankfully never went to Mars. So yeah, mine is to be like they have.
Anastasia in space.
Oh gosh, no.
Oh, I need to find another clip.
Oh.
Continue.
Oh gosh, but be like it's just like my frustration at this film came to the point where he had all the human characters who are bouncing around with no spacesuits whatsoever, and their bodies are completely exposed to Mars atmosphere. Even this be like all they have to do is pop this helmet on their head. There's no internal breathing or anything like. It's just their head. Be like, okay, I get it. It's more like symbolism of the whole bit, but it's more realism. They're all dead. Be like, even the Martians have to come. They can't breathe the atmosphere. Be like, like there's no understanding of when they're down, or is it pressurized? Can they breathe? And again, these are Martians who live on Mars. Why can't they breathe Martian air? It just makes no sense. Like DuckTales, the reboot did that better. Like, yeah, because like one character chews gum that can make her breathe. It's a cartoon. It makes sense. This, you're using realistic animation, and it just makes no sense. It's just like everybody's dead. So yeah, plot armor is so thick, the Hulk can't break it.
So you remember how when we first met Gribble and he was lying while he was there, and he says he was part of a secret government operation to stop communists in space?
Oh yeah.
Commander, you've rained on my glorious parade. For this, I'm sending everything I've got at you. But I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Thank you, Tim Curry, for Command and Conquer Red Alert.
That was from Red Alert. Oh, that makes sense. That was hysterical.
I think
Yes.
that's Red Alert.
That,
I could be wrong.
yeah.
I'm not playing the game. I just knew that scene.
Oh my gosh, but yeah,
The
just-
one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
oh my gosh, but yeah, the plot armor in this movie is so ridiculous. And the like when you're using realistic styled characters and you're having them bounce around the surface of Mars. But like if like what Mars suddenly has an atmosphere in it, like a strong atmosphere where it's people have no problem bouncing around with no suits on. It's like that just went whoop, forget it.
Especially since there's no clouds apparently on Mars. There
True.
are clouds on Mars.
They are.
But not here. This was like the moon.
Yeah.
It's like, good night.
Yeah. If you want a better interpretation of what Mars is like, go read The Martian, the book,
And watch the movie.
go watch the movie.
The
The
movie's
book's
just as good as the book.
Yeah, agreed. And
But-
really, Scott does it. They're like, it's good. So go read it, go watch it. Just FYI, go do that. So yeah,
So likes.
so that is my final dislike. Likes, go for it.
We have been we've been on this subject a little bit longer than I think either one of us intended.
Yeah.
But likes.
Yes.
This is gonna sound bad, but the end credits. It's not the credits themselves.
Yes.
I'm not pulling a Nate Marchand here.
Yeah. Finally ended.
What I'm saying is in the credits after you get past the stupid scenes showing the supervisor getting peed on by a baby Martian.
Oh,
that was unnecessary. But after that, after all those other scenes there at the end, you get video of the mocap sessions.
Yeah.
Actually, of
That
them
was
in.
interesting.
That was cool to watch.
Yeah.
As a person who enjoys seeing how stuff gets made, I actually really like that they put that in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that mocap video there, I actually enjoyed watching that.
Okay. Yeah. So again, like based on your comments, based on your I'm going to I'm going to shift, and I'm going to put my second to my first is the end credit scene where they're showing the mocap. That is always fascinating to watch because you're seeing the production of a movie be done and how they're doing it. Now, mind you, if it would have been in full screen, because how Disney Plus goes is like if you don't click on it, it's gonna shrink the screen.
I had the misfortune of trying to get back over there, and I clicked the wrong thing and exited completely out of the movie and had to restart it and fast forward all the way to the end. It was a pain in the butt, but
Right.
I still watched that part of it.
Yeah, just like that is like very fascinating because I love special features of films all the time, especially like the movie I mentioned before of The Adventures of Tintin. That is an incredible special features. Now, if they would have had the special features on Disney Plus, I don't know if they did because I wouldn't get moving as fast as I could. But
when you're done with the film, you're done with the film.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, I don't want to watch the rest of this film. I want to watch it again. It's a boring, stupid movie. That makes no sense. But the end credits where they're showing the mocap sessions and all that cool stuff, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna give them credit with its credits with showing the mocap scenes. That's awesome. And apparently, if you own the Blu-ray or DVD, you can actually go and find those.
Nice.
So if anything, if I was to actually own this, I would be like, oh, let me pull out the special features because that's the best thing about this film is the special features. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
Really? Isn't it really sad? Anyway, so yeah, that's my number one. His number one are the same. Mocap.
My second like for this, I talked about it earlier, is that we're on the other side of the uncanny valley. There was a lot of the uncanny valley here that affected me in a better way, I think, than uncanny valley usually gets me, because a lot of the mocap was good. I mean, it was like spot on the way it's supposed to be. It's just that it was too good, and that's what caused all the other issues for me. But I also recognize where uncanny valley hits, it hits on different people in different spots. So yeah, I thought the animation was spot on the uncanny valley scale. It was just where it was getting good. My problem is it was too good not to just go ahead and film it in live action.
Fair. So my second like, which was originally my first like, it has a good cast, a good casted.
Voice acting is great.
Yes, agreed. There we go. That's a better word to say. It has a good voice actor role of actors. Like Seth Green, be like, obviously you never hear him as the character. The young boy who played Milo, I thought he did a fairly good job. Be like, there are some dialogue here and there that is good, even though I don't like half these characters. Be like, at least they're voiced by very at least
Mhm.
quasi talented voice actors, unlike some films we done in the past where it was like, or even better, the previous film we just did, which was In Search of Titanic, where it was looked like you just hired the bum off the street to play a line.
Yeah.
Yes. But obviously they weren't bums, they were professional actors who apparently couldn't lip flap. And this movie has the exact same
That's
problem.
not necessarily
Can't lip flap.
that's not necessarily the actor's
Oh, I know.
fault. That's the director's fault for
Mm.
not
Oh yeah,
giving
I
them
agree.
something to work off of.
Oh, I agree.
In this film, they were getting the lip flaps because they were making the lip flaps.
Yeah.
But
even in some scenes, it didn't make any sense.
I mean, you're always going to have the issue with Milo because
Mm-hmm.
the actor and the
The mocap,
mocap actor and the voice actor are not the same person,
exactly.
and they were not capturing the audio at the same time as
Uh-huh.
the motion, which they were doing on all the other characters. So, yeah. My third like for this is it's got a good concept. I mean, it's cheesy, don't get me
I
wrong,
agree.
but the idea of a kid having to go to Mars to save his mom, that's not a bad idea for a
No.
movie. Even when it's to go to save her and feeling guilty that he said something he should not have said to his mother, and then feeling guilty about it and wanting to save her before he loses her so that he doesn't, he doesn't feel guilty that the last thing he said to her is, I wish I didn't have a mother. Because that's what he said.
Mhm.
It started the whole thing. That's not a bad concept for a film. That's a great
No.
starting point. It's just was not really completed. If-
Agreed.
That's what it comes down to. Is this movie doesn't feel like it's done, even though it's done. So, yeah. What's your third?
My third is going to be the exact same thing. Be like, you have some great premises that are being presented in this film. Like Drew said, it'd be like you have this basic idea, which is a cool premise of a young boy who wants to save his mother because he realized he made an error and she's been abducted by aliens. Oh, I've got to go on this grand adventure. And again, you have all the problems with the script. It needs a lot of doctoring. It needs a lot of work, a lot of TLC, and it just doesn't get it. And it's just like, it suffers. This movie is so horrendously like underperforms because, like, I think what I understand be like there wasn't a great word of mouth about this film, and plus the Uncanny Valley just threw people off, and then you just have this horrendous, like, some of the dialogue is terrible. You just, it's like at one point be like, literally when Gribble was going to be executed, I literally thought for a whole like 9 minutes it was like, please end this character, please. But obviously they didn't. Hi, Rushmore. Anyways, so the plot and everything is terrible, but there is a good idea. There's a good idea that could have taken a lot of work and a lot of polish. They took 3 years in this thing, and they didn't even bother to polish the freaking story. But it has a good idea. It has a good little
the great concept. It's just
Yes.
bad execution.
Exactly. That's far better than I could have said it. Either or. But okay, so how are you ranking this movie?
4.
4.
It's a 4. I mean, like I said, this is a meh film. It's the bad side of meh, but it's still meh. This is not like making me mad, or this is not as poorly. First of all, it's not as poorly animated as, say, In Search of Titanic was last week.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me mad like Leo the Lion. It's got enough effort that it's good enough for what it's trying to do, I think. But at the same time, it's not good enough for me to actually suggest to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm in the same boat. I give it a 4. It's not a good film. It's not Leo the Lion.
No.
It's not In Search of Titanic. Or
You know what it is?
What?
It's the Emoji Movie.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's very much an emoji movie. It has it's got a good premise. It's got some good here and there, but everything is around it's like meh. The story is meh.
Mhm.
The execution is meh. The animation's like, okay, this is really cool, but this is gonna creep everybody out. No
Yeah.
wonder people are gonna watch this movie. And no wonder he never acknowledges this film because it did so terribly.
Mhm.
And the reviews were terrible. So it makes sense. So in that fact, I'm giving it a 4. So what movie are we watching next?
Next time, we've got a humdinger of a film for you next week.
Humdinger.
From the guy who also directed, whose magnum opus, his dream film that he was put all his heart and soul into and worked 40 years into doing, that we reviewed on the Retro Rewind podcast. The same guy who directed The Thief and the Cobbler. He also directed Raggedy Ann and Andy, A Musical Adventure.
Okay.
This one's going to be a trip.
So where
And we're having to stream on YouTube. And that's as far as I'm telling you.
Okay then.
You have a link in the spreadsheet. So
Gracias.
join us next week for that. In the meantime, join us on the other side of the bumper, some Spy Family. And if I can get there, and we'll catch you over there.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out The Rushmore Show. The Rushmore Show is the place for ranking the ultimate top 4 in sports, video games, nostalgia, movies, and so much more. Each week, Andy and Kirk spark engaging discussions and friendly debates, making The Rushmore Show your compass in the realm of pop culture rankings. You can find more of them over on their YouTube channel, The Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following non-Patreon patron. That's our Babo. Plus, the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming. No, strike that. Back up. I got into an old habit. Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, PaulJPowers.com, The Monster Island Film Vault, and Edwin Gonzalez. If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, some special art from Jacob, uncut episodes, future exclusive TAS animated series reviews that are brand new, plus for $5 more off than that price, the ability to make us watch something within reason and review it on the show, and you can join us on the show for it if you wish. You can go donate to us on Patreon for that, or give us or talk to us online. Also, if you would like to buy a Cellcast t-shirt or socks or many other things over on our Redbubble store, we have designs over there. Check if you want to go check that out. There is a link in our show notes. Go check that out to support us in that way.
And also for our patrons, we do have merch coming out. We are
working on some stuff.
We are working on some stuff. We have, if you're part of the Cell chat, we talked about it in the chat. So we are going to have some Halloween based. Well, I'm going to come up with a design, make it, and then send it over to this guy where he can go and put it on Redbubble. And then we're going to let you guys know before everybody else.
Yeah.
So patrons, get ready for
Keep
that.
an eye out for that. Probably
Yes.
going to pop up sometime in right before October.
Yeah. So get ready for that. And we're also kind of contemplating doing different TV.
We're trying to get better about actually being content creators.
Exactly.
And giving you stuff that you can use to help send us money and support us.
Yeah, support us, and
we're not actually begging for money. We wouldn't mind it because it would be very nice, as I'm sure all of y'all can understand, for the show to pay for itself.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
find motivation and ways to promote. Either or. So that stuff will be coming out in a month or so. So
At the end of the month.
at the month. So just be aware, and it might be Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Maybe. Anyway.
That's my thought. Borf.
James Bond Jr.
Borf.
Impossible. Call me Big Man if you wanna face me. When you wanna face me, it's okay.
Naked Mole Rat.
Yes.
Bam Bam.
What an agent, what a squirrel. He's got the country in a whirl. What's his name? Shh, secret squirrel.
And Morocco Mole. I can't do the platypus fur thing.
Johnny Quest. Anybody want a peanut?
That so
So,
kills me.
yeah.
You want a peanut?
So here's a fun fact, Jacob.
Yes.
Counting the episodes we're about to review,
Yes.
we are three episodes away from finishing season 1.
Nice.
In fact, next week, we only will be reviewing one episode to finish off season 1.
Wow. Okay.
And here's another fun fact.
What would that be?
It is possible to go stream right now, although you do have to rent it on Amazon if you don't have Crunchyroll, to stream Code White, the movie.
Really?
And since it does technically take place in a snow-covered land, we may be reviewing that sooner than later.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah, because you reviewed that. You watched that.
I watched it. It's a great film.
Okay.
It's not necessary for the plot. In fact, it takes place like during season 2.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
we will probably end up doing. We will be probably reviewing the movie sooner than later. And we haven't discussed this yet, but we do know season 3 is in development.
Yes.
That may end up going to Extra Tasks as it comes out. So
okay.
keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, because I remember when you saw this film and you were trying to, you were saying, be like, oh, you should watch this film. But like, wait, you haven't seen the series yet.
And I was going,
it would be
there's so many cool things. There are 2 characters that show up. I can't tell you anything about them because you don't know them. You have actually met these 2 characters.
Oh, okay.
But still, we should wait till December at the earliest.
Okay.
So, Mission 23, The Unwavering Path. First aired December 10th, 2022, and is the end. No, not exactly the end, but the end of the Campbellton tournament.
This is an arc? It's 2 episodes.
It's 3.5 episodes, my friend.
3. Okay.
Yes, because we started this. 4 episodes, because we actually started it the week before March End.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the first episode that had Fiona Frost in it.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
starting with that one,
Got
and
it.
then the one where she's tricking out, or she's getting jealous of Yor, and then we had the first half of the Campbellton tournament. Now we have the second half of the Campbellton tournament.
Okay, it makes sense.
And this doesn't technically finish the Campbellton arc, but we'll get to that.
Wow.
And then mostly it's just because of story timing. Anyway, this one was directed by Norihito Takahashi and Kazuki Horiguchi, and written by Tomomi Kawaguchi. In this episode, Nightfall and Twilight, who went to a tennis match to get a coded painting, finish their match. After this, Nightfall challenges Yor to a tennis match so that she can take the role of Twilight's wife from her.
So good. So freaking good.
This
go. Let's go.
This adapts chapters 33 and 34 of the manga. Trivia for this: in the manga, Fiona looks more visibly upset when she sees Yor before exiting the car. And in the manga, after Yor tells Lloyd she won the match against Fiona, she walks off proud of her victory. However, in the anime, she pauses for a second and then walks off looking sad, frustrated, as if she wanted Lloyd to praise her and be elated that she won. This ties into her solemn face at the end of the episode as well as the next episode.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And before we get too terribly far into this,
Yes.
there was one moment in this film that made me wish that the timing for movies
Okay.
and this show had timed out just a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Because how funny would it have been if the episode of Spy Family where Yor swings her tennis racket so hard that it splits the tennis ball into thousands of tiny pieces. What if that had been on the Mad Balls episode?
Oh,
Because that's what I wanted to see happen to all those Mad Balls.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. That is a good. Oh my gosh, that would have timed perfectly because that would have been a real pain in the butt to illustrate.
Yes, but that was so freaking awesome.
Oh, it
seeing-
was good
because
It was
she
so
does
good.
that, and I'm going, how did she miss? Yours not a klutz.
No,
And then it just goes
shatter.
That's not technically possible. Neither is, and we'll get back to the beginning of it. I just wanted
Yes.
to touch on this one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that when she does hit it slow enough that it actually launches towards her, it's still going nearly the speed of light because we get the thing where the light waves in front of it are so short they turn blue.
Ooh, yes.
It's like, okay, first off, I know this show is ridiculous.
Yes.
It is a gag manga. I understand
Yes.
this. But that's both should be jumping the shark, and yet it doesn't because it's just so freaking awesome.
Yes, agreed. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back.
Yes.
The Campbellton. The final match against the Campbells. Phonies versus Campbells. Still love the fact that they're the phonies.
And Campbell's soup.
Yeah. And the Campbells are cheating to the point where they're firing rubber bullets
They're-
onto the field with a sniper.
That is the
Trying
fun.
to take these people out. That's how bad they're cheating. That are painted the same color as the tennis. The bullets are painted the same color as the tennis courts, so you can't see them.
And like again, like you said, it's
ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
But it's funny.
It's so funny. The fact to be like Lloyd is like, okay, they're doing this, so they're compensating for everything. And you're like, how the world be like, what are they in the Matrix or something? They're deflecting the rubber bullets. It's hitting the shooters. It's hitting their opponents. It's hitting everybody. It's most ridiculous thing
Even
in the world.
the ball boys that are supposed to be collecting the balls,
Yeah.
to return, they are flicking the bullets towards the phonies with their thumbs, and
Yes.
it's still firing fast enough to hit them. And apparently, I think it was Twilight who was able to accidentally hit one of those bullets enough that it hit the male Campbell twin.
Yeah.
And
he went,
oi! It's like, ah! It's like, there's no way he hit that bullet hard enough that it made you do that. If anything, that bullet, like, this is this show. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
It's both stupid
Mm-hmm.
and great.
Oh yes. But like, okay, so here's the thing. So we just reviewed a very bad movie.
Yeah.
And then you get into Spy Family or Spy X Family, and all you're doing is laughing the entire time. So it is good medicine. It's like a good soup. It's like
Yes.
Campbell's soup for your soul because it makes you laugh. Unlike the trash we do for Bad Movie
I'm
Month.
sorry, you stretched that joke.
I did,
way too
but it
far.
worked too. Thank you very much.
Which, considering you don't like soup,
No, I don't like soup. But hey, it worked. You're welcome.
Anyway, the first half of this is just getting that and finishing the thing, and of course the forger or the phonies win.
Oh yeah.
And they go up there, and just as the phonies win, the head Campbell, who's giving away anything from his collection,
Mm-hmm.
gets a call from the super secret service, whatever they're called, the secret police.
Yeah.
And so they're going to trick him into not letting them have the painting they came all their way there to win. But of course, because Lloyd is a master of disguise, he pretends to be the butler.
Oh yeah, it's
and
absolutely
gets
hysterical.
Nightfall happened to have or had a print.
Had a print of it and just swapped it out.
They just swapped it out. So they are able to get it. They get home.
Mhm.
They do the whole thing with Yor kicking her Nightfall's butt at this quick tennis match thing.
Oh, but it's but like, okay, so you have this amazing setup where it'd be like I'm sorry, how do you pronounce the girl's name?
Nightfall,
her
or
real name.
Yor.
Nightfall's real name.
Fiona.
So you have Fiona, who has this like hardcore crush obsession with Twilight.
Lloyd.
With Lloyd, Twilight, whatever we're gonna call him. They're like, and you just
Everyone
have
here
this-
has 5 names. We
Yes,
just
they
pick
do.
one.
So you have this like her internal dialogue, how she be like she's a better mother, she's this and this and this and this.
And
it's
Twilight
just-
already knows you're not the person I'd pick for this. That's
Exactly.
getting into next episode.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I agree with you. Be like,
don't jump ahead too fast.
yeah, like I did last week. But you just have this internal dialogue where it's be like she thinks she's better than Yor. Be like I can do this and this and this, and you see all these examples of what she can do, and it's just terrible. It's just like, oh my gosh, Anya's gonna just like she's gonna get pounded into like butter with like how bad she's gonna get assaulted by this character in the most cartoony way, not terrible ways. Come on, people, get it out of your gutter. Come on, get your heads out of the gutter. This is not this kind of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. That sounded stupid. Never mind. Delete that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyways, you yeah. Don't you love when you go on a tangent and you don't realize where you're going to the end of the sentence? And it's like,
That's called chasing a rabbit.
exactly. And I hate that.
Very, very quiet. Jacob's hunting rabbits.
Yeah. It's like, can that either or be like, you had this amazing point where Fiona or Nightfall is just be like, she's glowing how much she's better and how this and the scenarios going on in Yor's head. It's just like she's getting overwhelmed and it's like great. And
then the hit.
And then you have be like, and it's like, oh, I'm like, sure, let's play some tennis. And it's like, I didn't see this coming. It was like, she just shattered the ball with one hit.
With one hit.
I was like, okay, let's do another one. And just yes.
There's something we should be putting on the list.
Yeah,
is
One Punch
Man.
One
We'll
Punch.
get back to what we'll do that
Yes,
later.
we will.
We've already got stuff on the list. We'll get to that in a minute.
So the second time she hits, it's like, okay, take it a little bit easier. Be like, don't hit it so hard. Be like, you're making yourself look like a fool because this is your thingy. And she hits it, like Drew said, at supersonic speed where it's picking up. It's going blue.
It's going near the speed of light.
It's going Nova.
It's getting close to ludicrous speed. Ludicrous speed. We have never gone that fast. Nothing's ever gone that fast. I can't do the whole thing.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Spaceballs.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's just
My goodness, it's gone. The ball's gone to plaid.
But oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. They're like, okay,
Spaceball 1. Sorry. I just realized the name of the ship is Spaceball 1.
Yeah, Spaceball 1.
Went to plaid.
Yeah, went to plaid.
Sorry, go.
But either or, be like, this episode is so well done. It's so well crafted. And it's just like, and that you get this amazing setup for the next episode, which is perfect.
Well, let's finish this one first because Twilight goes and checks in with Handler, and they find the dossier. The whole reason they're doing this is so they can get this dossier.
Oh,
because
yeah.
the code told them where the dossier was, and they get it. And all it was that this guy loved going to the theater to see starlets, and had collections of their pictures. I'm assuming signatures too. And his wife was creeped out by this and told him to get rid of it. So he started hiding it and only keeping the rare ones.
I totally forgot about this part.
And the whole thing about how it was going to incite a war wasn't between the East and West. It was going to be between him and his wife.
I totally forgot about it because
And then
it was so good.
the last bit after the credits, but before the next mission, the next episode
Yes.
preview, we get this quick little scene of Fiona training on the top of this mountain.
Yes.
With a racket where the wire goes on the tennis racket is a giant boulder tied to this wooden bat. And she's just going, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. She's like, I must be stronger than than Mrs. Forger. I should be the real Mrs. Forger.
Well, other agents hang out just like, what the crap? And like the wildlife's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like, what is happening?
It's like, why am I here watching this mad woman swing a racket with a rock on it?
That's how that
it's
episode
absolutely
ends.
hysterical.
All right, so
let's get into the next episode.
let's get into the next one. Mission 24. The role of a mother and wife and shopping with friends. First aired December 17th, 2022.
Yes.
The first half of this ends the Campbellton arc, and the second half of this begins the Imperial Scholars Mixers arc, which ends in the next episode, by the way. Actually, it may technically go into a bit of season 2, but basically it's done here. It's done at next episode. So, in this episode, Yor, who thinks that she has been bested by Nightfall, is upset and sad. Sensing that his mission is in jeopardy, Twilight invites Yor to a bar to talk about it. Suddenly, something happens to Twilight that hasn't happened to him in years. Also, Anya and Becky go shopping.
Yes.
This adapts chapters 35 and 36. Trivia for this episode. For the anime, changes were made to the adaptation of Short Mission 2, aka Frankie Wants a Date. So that the bar that Frankie and Lloyd went to in that episode is the same one Lloyd and Yor visit in this episode.
Really?
In fact, Lloyd and Yor sit in the same seats that Frankie and Lloyd occupied in episode 16.
That makes sense.
The song that plays during Lloyd's recollection of his mother is a remix of the track As a Mother, As a Wife. The lullaby Lloyd's mother sings to him follows the melody of the same track.
Oh.
When Anya thinks about the things she loves, Bond is not mentioned.
I saw that. I was like, oh, poor Best Dog.
Well, this is the second episode where we hear Bond say something that is not Borf. And it is a repeat of his line, jealous.
Jealous. I didn't hear that part when I was watching it.
I only caught it because I had the
subtitles on. It's like jealous. It's like jealous.
Go, Becky's gonna have to sleep careful tonight, or she may end up like Penguin, like Mr. Penguin or Agent Penguin. During
she literally becomes a rag doll.
Yeah. During Martha's flashback, that Martha was the Becky's chauffeur / servant.
Yes.
When Becky refuses to go to Eden, her father's reaction is omitted in the anime.
Oh.
So, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Gosh. So
this is admittedly more of a story episode. There's not as much
is.
ridiculously in this one
until the very end of the first half.
Until Yor gets drunk.
Yes. It's absolutely it's very sobering. It's a very sober episode. It's again, it just have these ridiculous. It's got this ridiculous where she's more like, we're like, oh, this because she's overthinking things. She thinks she's a failure, and be like she doesn't know what to do with her life. And then you have Twilight is just like, okay, I've got to fix this. And it's like, okay, let's go to a bar, let's talk about this. And then Yor is just like she's trying to express what she's trying to say. And she gets drunk beyond belief, like the character does.
Well, she drinks the rest of her Red Queen,
and
then drinks the entire whiskey bottle that Lloyd had the bartender leave
to give her the courage to say what she's going to say.
And it just gets her so drunk she doesn't even remember what she says.
Oh,
and
oh my gosh!
At one point, punches Lloyd so hard he flies across the bar, but then because he's Lloyd, he lands on his feet. But then falls down drunk.
Didn't he be like? I thought York kicked him.
He kicked him. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
she's
she
a
kicked him so hard.
She's a kicker.
Yeah, very much a kicker. Be like, and how
She's
that's
not a
animated is
puncher.
beautiful.
She's a kicker.
But you be like the amount of ridiculousness in that be like it's a very touching scene where it's more she feels very vulnerable and she doesn't know how to do. Be like she feels like she's a failure and like what she's doing, she doesn't know what she's going to do afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I guess I'm going to have to go back to like killing people. But she like it's this where Lloyd misreads what's happening and it's like, oh, let's get married for real. But by the time he tries to say that, he kicks it in the chin by a fastball kick.
Yeah.
And knocks him skyward. Be like, he comes down gracefully and he realizes like, man, I've gotten slow. Well, you realize who you just got kicked by. The same woman who sent a volley at her opponent at light speed
and swung that racket so hard the first tennis ball split into a million pieces. And this wasn't the first time it happened.
What else did you expect? And he was like, I must be like,
how
I
are
haven't
you
been kicked that hard since training.
How are you not suspecting there may be more to Yor than you realize? It's because you're blinded by love.
Exactly.
Whether you want to admit it or not, you are blinded by love, Lloyd.
Yeah. So you feel like you have the point where Lloyd thinks that Yor is in love with him. So it's like, okay, I need to put on the charm because I need to be like, this is the mission. But also at the same time, be like, you realize these two characters are coming together as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love the intro because before it was more, they showed more of their alter egos, so like who they truly are.
Yeah.
So now it's starting to progress into like who we see them as, who they think, who they believe they are. They go from a forger family to a forged family.
It goes from being a forgery family,
forgery,
to being forged into a family.
Okay, that's a better.
That's what you're trying to.
Yes,
get at,
it didn't come out right.
Yeah, it's fair. This is a very is some ridiculous back and forth because of course Lore, that's their couple name now. Lore, Lloyd and Yor, they overthink things.
Oh yeah,
a lot.
It's
and
so
they're
funny.
they're both doing because they're both keeping a secret from the other because Lloyd
not very well though.
Not very well, but they're both so blinded to the other that they don't see the obvious.
Right.
But that's part of the funny here.
Exactly.
They both overthink things so much that it goes. That's what causes the issue. So it's not till I don't remember exactly how Lloyd gets knocked out again, or gets knocked out enough that he gets the quick vision of his mom before waking up with his head in Yor's lap.
No, it was more like he got up, but then he succumbed to actually the concussion he got.
I thought that might have been it, but
Yeah,
I wasn't
he passed
sure.
out.
But that scene that happens on the park bench.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That's the stuff we're here for. That is the relationship
Mm-hmm.
solidifying. It goes from being funny to being a serious moment then, with the joke that the next morning Yor doesn't remember a word of it.
Yeah, word of it. Be like, she was like, "What happened to your double
And
button
they
in
had-
your chin?" It's like,
Why do you-
she didn't remember anything. It's all crap.
Yeah. And then the next episode, which is
So
the start of the next arc.
yeah, so like to kind of just be like, you have this amazing moment where Lloyd is remembering his mother. Be like, well, something we've never seen from Lloyd, and then you'll be like, obviously it's Yor actually seeing it.
Character development. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. Which is amazing. And then you get this amazing moment where these two characters are bonding in a moment. And it's so sweet. And then it goes back to the silliness. But then it's like, okay, then you realize they are becoming a forged family. They are forging into a family. And then you get the next part.
Then you get shopping with friends.
Shopping with friends.
The beginning, technically, of the Mixer arc. Because, and believe me, I am looking forward to seeing your thoughts on the next episode.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying, because that next episode's a good episode.
Okay.
But looking at this episode, I love all the different outfits that
Oh yeah, it's hysterical.
both of them get into. But to me, the moment is when Anya buys Becky
Oh yeah,
the little sheep keychain
yeah,
that was apparently extremely expensive.
very expensive. It's like, wait, how much did you spend for this?
This thing was $300 whatever however much a dog
Dog
is actually
is.
worth, but I'm going, okay, that's expensive. But that's the whole reason they went shopping
Mm-hmm.
was so that Anya, I keep wanting to say but Anya
Yeah.
could get an outfit that would stun the pants off of
Mhm.
Damien,
Yeah,
because Becky's trying to play matchmaker.
of
And
course.
Anya is
These are
too,
first graders, people.
Anya is
First
too
graders.
well. Anya's still 4. Let's be honest.
Yes, but she's pretending
but
to
she's
be a
pretending to be 6, and she does not understand love
no
in that way.
Yeah, not in that way.
And so Becky is going to help her find an outfit that's going to make her look super cute.
Uh-huh.
And what I love about this is after they go all the trouble, don't end up buying a single outfit. All they buy are these little sheep keychain things of the mascot of the store. And her, with that smile on her face with her friend,
Mm-hmm.
with those two little things on there, when Damien
Sees
sees
it.
them,
Mm-hmm. He's smitten.
He's smitten. They succeeded without realizing they had done it.
Yes.
Because let's face it, we've known since halfway through, near the end of the
Mhm.
first half of season 1, that they're going to be lovey-dovey
Yeah.
because he's already in love with her. We know this already. Neither
Yeah.
one of them know how to express it or explain it because they're kids.
They're little
They're
kids.
little
Yeah.
kids.
It's more like what we mostly describe as puppy love.
Oh yeah.
A puppy love, like a really deep puppy love.
And I really have to give it to Anya that she's smart enough to realize that the Stella plan is not working because she can't do that and she's tired of failing.
Yeah.
I understand that completely. So she's going all in on the friendship plan.
Right.
But so I give her kudos for that.
Yeah.
But that whole part there where it ends with Damien being smitten at her being super cute because she's having fun with her friend.
Yeah.
That to me spoke volumes, and they did it without pushing it. They didn't slam your face into
Mhm.
it. It just showed the scene, gave you enough for you to make the connection, and that
Mhm.
was it.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
Oh, I agree. And the point where you're like,
That's the one thing this show's really good at. Sorry. It's when it's got jokes and it's got funny, it knows how to
Mhm.
push those buttons.
Mhm.
And when we've got a serious moment, an important plot point, we push those in just the right way where it never feels like whiplash.
yes. So you have those you have that moment where Becky is she's like, oh, we're gonna buy all these amazing things and blah 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 blah. But it's that moment where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, that Anya will be like, oh, she wants like toys or something like that. It's like, and finds these keychains and like, oh, we can get them from each other. And then you have the moment where, what's her name again? Sorry,
Martha?
no, the friend.
Becky?
Becky, be like, you have Becky and be like, she's remember what her father said, and be
Yeah,
like,
the flashback.
the flash, which is great. And then you have the moment where it's her butler,
Martha.
her driver, who is like remembering all these times where
Uh-huh.
it's more Becky's just had problems with, be like, she's rude, she's insensitive,
horrible at making friends.
more of making
and
friends.
she made this friend and the best friend she could possibly have
Exactly.
with Anya.
And then you have that connection where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, because you're my friend, which Anya says to, yeah, Becky. And it's just like this very touching moment where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, be like, oh, you're my friend. Oh, and it's just like, bing, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's done so perfectly because there again, you have this mix of comedy and silliness and over dramatic everything. And
Mhm.
you have like in the last part of the first part of this episode where you have Yor and Lloyd who they start to connect with each other, and like their histories and their everything sort of to forge together.
Yes.
And then you have these two friends who forge together a friendship, their first ever real friendship. And I find that very fascinating. And then you get
And very cute.
very cute. It's very cute. And then you get Damien, and he's like, oh, she actually is kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. I think it's like book 4. When you had that moment where Hermione comes down the stairs for the Yule Ball, and like Harry realizes, oh, she actually is cute.
She does clean up nice.
She does clean up nice. And then Ron, who's just jealous about everything, and you realize, like, oh,
It's because he's actually in love with Hermione, but doesn't want to admit it yet.
True. I think I have a shipper, but there again, I
I understand the Harry Hermione ship,
Yes.
but just looking at the way the story was written,
Oh, yeah,
I don't think
I
that was
agree.
ever in the cards.
I agree. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah.
But you see it. It's like, oh, he acknowledges, okay, she's actually kind of cute.
Mhm.
Be like seeing her with her best friend smiling and giggling the whole bit.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, she's actually kind of cute. But like, granted, he's 6. And the cool thing was, so I heard this amazing story one time from some church friends that I've known for years. And they're like, I know they've been married for years. And they have 3 amazing kids. So these two, they met each other when they were wee little children, about the same age as like these kids are. And like they were friends when they were kids. They started dating in middle school. They were dating and they were high school sweethearts. They were college sweethearts. They got married at the end of their college career, and they've been married ever since. I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I've never heard a story like this. This is absolutely uncanny. So it was that moment of where be like, oh, you realize, like, oh, she's kind of cute. So I don't know what's going to happen. I've never read anything of this. This guy over here is like, oh my gosh, I love this. So I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Jacob, you got to remember, I've only seen a couple episodes past this.
Right.
I've seen most of the way into season 2. There's only 3 episodes of season 2 I've not watched.
Right.
I don't know much more than you.
Yeah.
So don't be reading too much into this. And I've not read really very far into season 2.
Right.
So
right. It's just more the way they're projecting things.
Yeah. There's
like,
still
so there could be more there.
There's
but
a
we don't
lot
know.
of forward projection in this that I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Right.
Next episode
Yes.
is the final episode of season 1, which is why it's the only episode we are reviewing next week with Raggedy Ann and Andy.
Which I did find that link.
And the episode is called First Contact.
So it's a Star Trek episode?
No.
It doesn't involve Vulcans or the Borg?
No. Stop and think in the context of this. What could First Contact actually mean?
First Contact.
And that's all I'm going to leave you with. Don't answer on the show.
I've got a few ideas of what it could be.
If you saw the next mission thing, you kind of got a bigger hint.
Yeah, I did.
Because you saw a mustache.
Yes.
But let's just say there's a character technically debuting next week. We already all know.
Oh.
So
okay, cool.
Join us next week for that,
There we
along
go.
with Raggedy Ann and Andy.
All right, excellent.
In the before we leave, want to point out over on the Cell Nation Facebook group, we have a poll up right now because season 2 is half the size of season 1. We are going to be needing to pick our next animated series reviews series to review, and we're letting y'all pick. We've got 4 choices up there. We've got Batman the Animated Series,
Gravity Falls,
DuckTales
Woo!
2017,
and
Star Trek the Animated Series.
Yes.
All fun shows to be watching. Go vote for the one you really want us to do. On my last check, Batman the Animated Series was the one that was winning.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to have to talk about where that actually, what we're calling the end of that. Because I know there's technically 2 shows and that there's a weird split in there, but we're going to talk about that later.
Yes.
But in the meantime, go check out that. And this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. his Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, his Twitter at Jacob Heron, and his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen, his Facebook page Drew's Photobin to see his photography, his Letterboxd page at ggeorge759, his Twitter at ggeorge759, and Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
You know, in the last. Oh, wait.
Hairball. Got level.
The irony is, if you'd have done that during the actual song, I could have edited that out.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, back where I was saying.
Yes.
You know, in the last 15 years, this is the second big Disney flop I know of that took place on Mars. You know what the other one is? John Carter.
Yeah.
What is wrong with Disney and the planet Mars? Why does that produce flops? I don't get it.
That's a good point. I have no idea, dude.
Okay,
No.
that's the end of it. Okay, I had to try to come up with a funny.
Yes.
See who's on so I can go raid them for our Twitch peoples.
Badger. Badger, badger, badger.
Mushroom, mushroom. I can click the right buttons on here.
Yeah.
I don't know these people. Okay, based on who I'm following. Yeah, I don't see anyone I want to raid. So, sorry, we'll see y'all later.